As you can see, Cuadrilla will seek to raise fracking tremor threshold in Lancashire. And that just goes to show that the head of Cuadrilla doesn't give a shit about us or the damage he's causing to the water table, because he doesn't live anywhere near there, of course. The company in charge of UK's only active shale gas site said it would seek to raise the threshold of seismic activity in which fracking must stop. Why? We know, everyone that's looked into it knows it causes damage. It's really bad. It's been banned in France and numerous other countries, but our traitorous government, no, not banned here, of course. Energy Minister Claire Perry said in October it would be foolish to change the threshold at present because it's causing earthquakes anyway, so why change it? So they cause more earthquakes, obviously. Doctors, students and firemen protest against budget cuts in Catalonia. So the same shit that's happening over here still, this austerity, it's basically torture. Same things happening in France, Spain as well. Protests against budget cuts intensify in Catalonia. Everything seems to be pushing one way. And if you look at the bigger picture, instead of just taking the single events to bit as individual events, and look at the bigger picture, I think it's become blatantly obvious of the plan of the traitors in Europe. This plan has been 10, 20, 30 years old. They knew at some point everyone would want to leave, or in Britain they'd want to leave the EU referendum. So they looked at the both options. If we voted to stay and if we voted to leave. If we voted to stay, well, that's not a problem. We just leave it as it is. If we vote to leave, on the other hand, what we're going to do? Well, first of all, it'll take 2 to 4 years for them to actually get out. In that time in between, we can cause so much shit, make up so much rumours that there'll be no longer any fish and chips, the sky's going to cave in, and it's going to be the end of the world, and we're going back to the Stone Age, which is actually where they want to take us anyway, and all sorts of shit like that. So by 2 years into it, we can then offer them another referendum, and this time we fix it that they remain. Now, that we might not get that though, so we need another way of getting that in the long term, because we always play the long ball game here. So what we're going to do, I know what we'll do, we'll put someone in that's such a traitor to the country that will make Margaret Thatcher look like an angel. Theresa May. Okay, that's that bit done. Then what do? We make her so bad that she's the most hated Prime Minister ever in this country's history. Okay, but what will that get us? Well, we'll have the opposition. We'll have Corbyn. We'll have him because he's a right traitor as well. We'll have him as the leader of the Labour Party, and a pro-Remainer. So it'll get to the point where everyone will be so pissed off with May that they'll go, right, let's have a general election. So we'll have a general election, we get Corbyn ushered in, and he says we'll have another referendum, which we fix we fix it so it's a Remain vote. Regardless of what the real vote is, we'll fix it so it's a Remain vote. That's a damn good plan. And if you look at the way things have been progressing, that's exactly the way it's going. You mark my words. Train ticket prices to rise by an average of 3.1% next year. The price of a train ticket will rise by 3.1%, the biggest rise in 6 years, the rail industry says. The new fares will come into force on 2nd of January. Now, just to go on cotton picking minute there, because I'm sure when we saw this privatisation of the railways, as it will cause them to go against each other and drive prices down, and yet what has actually happened, just the same with the water, the gas, the electric, anything at all that ever gets privatised, the prices go through the roof every single time. We're always told It'll be cheaper when we always know it always means there's going to be a massive increase in the hike in prices. That happens all the time, every time, regardless, and they've been getting away with it for so long, but now I think the public is starting to realise it's all betrayal and treason by the about to not be ruling class much longer. Police in England and Wales could get 600 million funding boost in week of street violence spike. Or another way of looking at that is problem, reaction, solution. Okay, so the problem, we create knife crime. We say that kids are being stabbed in London all over the place, because where do we want to go? We want to arm the police. But if we just say, oh, we're arming the police, everyone will go, whoa, 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 whoa. So we create the problem, knife crime. We wait for the reaction, something must be done. We've got to stop this. We go, okay, well, if we increase your taxes, that will give 600 million so we can then arm the police. Problem, reaction, solution. The safety of 5G technology is finally being brought into serious question. Natural news. In case you haven't noticed, tech industry fascists working in lockstep with corrupt governments all around the world are pushing really hard to get super fast 5G wireless technology fully and globally deployed over the next several years. But what they're not doing is making any attempt whatsoever to prove the technology is in any way safe. And if you do a bit of research into it, you'll find out it's actually not. It's 1G down from 6G. 6G is microwave. You know, you put something in there, microwave, and you turn it on, it microwaves it. 6G. 5G is then cooking us slowly. You will be, the cancer rates will go through the roof. The bird population will drop off immediately, because it's been tried in a European country, and all the birds drop dead. The insects will drop dead. Nothing for the bees to feed on. They'll drop dead. Without bees, we're all dead. That's how serious 5G is. Or as it's better known, the energy weapon, which is what it is. Can you trust the police? Policeman 38 who raped a 16-year-old girl against a tree, then drove to McDonald's and ordered milkshakes as he plotted how to trick her father into thinking they'd been to the cinema, is jailed for 9 years. PC Anand Provan, 38, raped the teenager while on a first date in August 2010. Well, he's a paedophile if he was 38 and he was going out with a 16-year-old. Let's call it how it is, not namby-pamby going first date. He's a frigging paedophile. Crime was not reported until 2016, and he was has been jailed for 9 years today. After the rape in Woods in Romford, Provan looked up film plots in McDonald's. I'm not going to go into it anymore, but it's just more evidence that the police simply cannot be trusted. And this one's in, I mentioned it earlier, but I'm putting it in again. Stand Up, the new highway robbers. Furious commuters slam 3.1% rail fares hike as they face paying hundreds of pounds extra despite years of strikes and delays. Price rise will come into effect 2nd of January this year. It was revealed this morning. Rail delivery groups say that the rise is part due to rise in the cost of fuel. That's a pack of lies, because the fuel has gone down and down and down. Comes after a chaotic summer due to timetable changes that hit trains in May. But basically, it's more highway robbery, plain and simple. Bank of England's spending under the spotlight as it emerges. It spent almost 100,000 on a summer party and over 50,000 on Mark Carney's travel. You know that, 50 grand. That's like probably more than you get a year, probably double more than what you get a year. But Mark Carney spends that on travel. The bank's annual Governor's Day event included a bake-off and a treasure hunt. Bank spent more than 58,000 on food and drink and 27,000 on entertainment. Carney racked up at more than 50,000 expenses between March and May. That's 2 months. 50,000 in 2 months. The Bank of England spent nearly 100,000 on a summer party for its 2,500 employees and their families, it has been revealed. It's just robbery, plain and simple. Metro. Poo found on every McDonald's touchscreen tested. Traces of feces have been found on every single McDonald's touchscreen swabbed in an investigation at metro.co.uk. So now, not only can you go into McDonald's and eat shit food, you can touch the screens and get shit all over your fingers before you eat the shit food. The tell-lie graph. We have surrendered our voice and vote and our veto. Sam Guillermo becomes latest May minister to quit. MPs say Brexit deal would set Britain up for failure. Why I cannot back the PM's Brexit plan. PM blah, 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 blah. Express. Dame Esther, your gifts can help my appeal. Well, how about this, Dame Esther, seems you are friends with Jimmy Savile, the renowned paedophile amongst other things. How about you give some of your money, because you're very well off. Give some of your money and stop asking for the poorest to give to your dream of just robbing more. Outrageous pay rises for rail fat cats. Well, see, you've got to pay for it. That's why it's gone up 3.1%. Christmas bonus if Brexit is agreed. In other words, agree to sell out your country and you'll get a Brexit bonus. Shoppers want certainty before spending. No, we don't. We want out of the EU, which is what was voted for. But it doesn't seem we're going to get that. Dick Van Dyke sweeps Emily off her feet. Is he even still around? He must be like 300 years old now. The scum. £5 at Iceland when you spend 30. Millions face £24 cop tax. You know, because now they want you to pay further for them coming round kicking your door in because you forgot to pay your bills or anything like that. No, they're not fit for purpose. They don't need any more money. In fact, the money should be taken from them because they're not fit. They're absolutely disgraced. They're useless. They're a waste of time. Strictly again. Cliff's agony. Pedo lies make me fear being near kids. Even though I was known as Kitty when I went round and raped the children at Elm Guest House, it's all wrong because I've been found out. The Times. Tax rise to boost police. Extra 700 million for cash-strapped forces leaves households facing the higher bills. No. No. Why pay for our own imprisonment force? Top Labour MPs misled public over son's arrest. And Putin meets the Saudi prince. And as you can see, high fives, because they're all in it together. Daily fail. Free David Walliams' children's audiobook because he is also a member of the President's Club where they like to belittle women. So just bear that in mind if you go for that sort of stuff. Mail calls for volunteer army to transform NHS. Let's give hospitals a helping hand. Join the hospital help force. Or in other words, let's get you working for free because that's how slavery works. You work for free. Slavery. Go, buy back May's deal. Well, that's because you're a treasonous git. Anything but independent. The Brexit lesson from World War II. We must talk about grief at Christmas. The albums of 2018 you can't be without. I think you're wrong there. The end of the cricket tour is nigh. Macron demands Khashoggi answers. Although that looks nothing like that. That looks like Macron's talking to him saying, you think we pulled their eyes over the Khashoggi murder? I think so. We'll get away with it, no problem. And no doubt this will be reporters, demanding replies over Khashoggi. And, you know, I want some answers over Khashoggi murder. When in actual fact, we're really all the best of buddies because we're all on the same side. And it's not our side. NHS winter crisis claims 50,000 extra lives. Ineffective flu vaccine contributes to biggest spike since '76. So the New World Order depopulation agenda is working really, bang on target. I. Rail fares rise 37% in a decade. Ticket prices have grown twice as fast as wages since 2010. 10,000 a year commute for passengers from Swindon to London. Fury over season ticket hikes after cancellation and timetable chaos. Millennial rail card postponed again, so no discounts fares for Christmas. Transport Secretary Chris Grayling faces new calls for resignation. Revealed the 10,000 ticket to Britain on board a rubber dinghy. Half price case of wine. My love letter to millennials. FT. Crossrail HS2 chairman to be axed. With a massive handsome payoff, I bet you anything you like. Morgan to leave within weeks. Project run over budget. Ministers press May to act. Pinewood feels a force as Netflix swoops. Splash out the top price is of financial advice. This the wealthy that clients do not hear. Smoke and mirrors. That's all.